What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some football, Houston Texans football. Today, we're going to talk about, I know it's the playoffs, we all excited, we all hyped up, and we getting ready, and be prepared, and all these type of things, but was everybody focused? Was everybody's mind in the right spot? Was everybody keeping the main thing the main thing? We're going to talk about, we're going to break it down. Before we get in there, like I'm telling you before, if you're liking the content, make sure you're liking the channel. Make sure you're watching all the videos. You comment on all the videos. You liking all the videos. You sharing all the videos on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share them same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The link in the description below. We're still in the race to get the 6,000 subscribers. You know what that means? I need you to tell a friend, tell another friend, so they can tell a friend, so they can tell some more friends, and put them on game with the channel so the channel can get growing and growing and growing. Really, really appreciate that. Still trying to get the 6,000 subscribers, and I can't do it without y'all. I need y'all help. I need y'all to like, share, and subscribe, and let's get this channel growing. Now, like I said before, when you start having success and you start seeing the fruits of that labor and starts being very successful, and you start winning and start achieving things and seeing brand new heights, people want to mimic that. And also they want to take away from that and add to their own. And sometimes you could be a victim of your own success. Take, for instance, offensive coordinator Bobby Slowik. His name has been trending a lot over the past couple weeks, over the past week, really since the regular season ended, but also especially during the playoffs, especially after the Cleveland Browns game. We see him gain interest from the Tennessee Titans, the Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, the Commanders, Seattle. Forgot who else. I think there's another team out there, if I'm not mistaken, if I missed it. But all those teams were generally wanted to interview him for a head coaching position. A guy who a year ago was the passing game coordinator for the 49ers, wasn't calling plays. This is his first time being a full-time OC, first time being the OC period, and his first time actually calling plays. He's a guy who used to do quality control back in San Francisco. That's why him and D'Amico Ryans have such a good relationship, because both of them were doing quality control in San Francisco back in 2018 or something like that. So he's a guy that really, this success really kind of jumped up a little bit, kind of for him and D'Amico, as far as D'Amico only being a couple years removed from playing football once he got into coaching and actually got to the position now that he's a head coach. But I want to bring it back to Bobby Slowik, because now Bobby Slowik is starting to get that same type of energy and that same type of buzz. Now, D'Amico Ryans left after 2 years of being the DC in San Francisco, and also, if I'm not mistaken, was 2 years as a linebackers coach as well. Or at the very least, I know he's a year as a linebackers coach under Robert Saleh, but I think he was a linebackers coach for 2 years, then was a DC for 2 years before he became the head coach of the Houston Texans. Unlike Bobby Slowik, who this is his only first year of being the OC, but it's already starting to get some of that buzz in the news. And we even see Gerard Johnson, our quarterbacks coach, he's been requested for interviews for the New Orleans Saints and the Cleveland Browns to be their OC. So success, again, especially after having that game you had against Cleveland. But the reason why I bring that up is because in Saturday's game versus the Baltimore Ravens that ended the Texans season in a 34-10 loss, probably the part that was most disappointing was the offense. We were only in scoring position twice, and out of that, only was able to muster up 3 points, because the one touchdown that we had came off a punt return, came off special teams. We had a field goal, and then Kyrie Fairbairn right before halftime missed another field goal. So you were only in the scoring position twice, and you only mustered up 3 points after an offense that the previous week put up 34 points. Was it 34? Yeah, put up 34 points, because you had scored 14 off your defense. So 31. I'm sorry, 31 points. So put up 31 points because you scored 14 off your defense. So you put up 31 points the previous week against the season's #1 defense the whole season. I know this was the #1 scoring defense in the Baltimore Ravens, the best team in football. I think they was #1 in sacks, even though they didn't muster, the Texans didn't allow any sacks. But a lot of people look at it and see, was Bobby Slowik possibly distracted in that game? Because he had an interview for Tennessee last week, and then as soon as the game was over, he had interviews, I think, for the Falcons and the Panthers or maybe not the Falcons, maybe it was the Seahawks and the Panthers on Sunday, right after the game, had Zoom calls. And it's got some other interviews scheduled the rest of this week. And then, like I said, then that's when Gerard Johnson started getting his name out there as well. So I wonder if his mind, his focus wasn't completely on the game, because it was some questionable things that happened in that game. I know a lot of people talk about the reverse flea flicker that he threw to that we threw to Hutchinson. We threw it to Fant side. If Fant would have caught that block, I think Hudson might have even scored a touchdown, but at the very least would have got a very decent game. I think that he maybe if you still calling it that on that side, you call it on Tunsil's side. Tunsil's a better blocker in space. I think the play could work, but maybe if you do it to the other side, outside doing the fan side, the one that was almost an interception. I actually think that was a good, actually a nice play called the fake, the double fake here, and then tried to get it to not Jordan Akins, but give it to Brevin Jordan. If it wasn't tipped at the line of scrimmage, I think Brevin Jordan scores on that touchdown. And not the fun thing, but the crazy thing about that, if Kyle Hamilton doesn't drop the ball, I think it's going for a pick six too. Because Kyle Hamilton, if he doesn't, I think he was too busy looking at the end zone, because when he broke on the ball, he seen green, he seen pay dirt, and I think he was my focus. Oh man, I'm about to score a pick six in the playoff game, my first playoff game. I'm about to score a pick six in, and he's looking this way. And he's like, he doesn't feel the ball in cleanly, and that's the reason why he has to come back and try to catch it. Luckily for the Texans, he dropped it. But again, if it's not tipped to the line of scrimmage, I believe that Jordan Akins, because outside Kyle Hamilton, which Kyle Hamilton's trying to undercut the ball, I actually think it gets over Kyle. I think it gets over Kyle Hamilton, even though I know he's like 6'4", 6'5". I still think the ball gets over Kyle Hamilton's head, and I think Brevin Jordan catches it, and I think Brevin Jordan probably takes it to the house himself, or at the very least gets inside the 5. Again, that right there was the drive that got you on the first field goal. But after that play, you had another down, and a lot of time on third down, we were running sideline to sideline. We was not trying to get first downs. Like, our receivers couldn't get open. Our receivers couldn't get open. That's the reason why CJ had to throw the football away a lot, and like, because he didn't get sacked, he was able to get out of the pressure and was able to get out of a clean pocket. He was able to sit in his pocket clean because of the pressure that they had. But a lot of our routes was running this way instead of trying to get first downs, especially on third down when you're trying to get first downs. So look, we wasn't trying to get. It seems like we wasn't trying to get to the sticks. And I fault that on play design. I fault that on play calling. Also, we couldn't get a running game going. I think that's a huge reason why the Ravens were able to have pressure. They was able to sit on their routes, and they was able to keep everything in front of them, because we couldn't get nothing going in the running game. And this is one thing that I wanted us to do. And I said this early on, especially in the first half. And again, you come in after halftime tied 10-10. So everything that happened in the first half, you got to pass for it, because the game is still in the game. It's a tie game. Even though the Ravens scored a touchdown on the opening drive, everything is still in front of you. And we couldn't symbolize the run game. I felt like we stood to the run game a little bit too much, and we didn't go to a quick, short passing game. Get the football out of CJ's hands quick. Do some screens and things like that to Nico and stuff like that. And I think we attempted maybe one, maybe two screens throughout that whole game, if I'm not mistaken. I know one, Nico didn't get anything on it. But we should have did more of a quick, short passing game to symbolize a run game. That's what Kansas City's done in years prior without a run game with Patrick Mahomes. That's what Tom Brady did when their running game wasn't working in New England. Like, there's been times that Peyton always was doing that. Without Ezra and James in Indianapolis, he didn't really have a running game. So if Ezra wasn't playing, or they couldn't get the run going, they would do a quick, short pass game. So I didn't understand why we didn't go to the quick, short pass game to try to symbolize a run game, try to get something going, to get something going on this offense, and maybe that eventually could open up the actual running lanes. I don't know what was wrong with Singletary in the game. I mean, I think he was a little bit too patient. Instead of just trying to hit the hole aggressively, he was a little bit too patient, trying to let things slow develop too much, slow cooking too much, and he wasn't hitting the holes correctly. But I do believe that it did not. It seems funny. And again, I don't want to put the onus and the complete blame all on Bobby Slowik because I don't think it's Bobby Slowik's worst game, but it is the Texans' worst offensive output of the entire season. Carolina Panther game, which I believe is the worst performance for the team totally in this season. I think CJ was completely off his game. You were unprepared. You lose to the worst team in football. And especially letting them have a game-winning drive. I just think that was the Texans' worst performance from a total standpoint in that game right there. And then, ironically, I think the worst call game that Bobby Slowik had was against the Baltimore Ravens week 1. Now, you want to sit up and say that possibly, hey, he might struggle against this defense and this defense causes problems and things like that. I could agree with that. You got 2 game sample size. You got the season opener, and then you have the end of your season, both in Baltimore. Again, I know that the first one is, the first time he's calling plays on the NFL level or on any type of level calling plays, period, outside of preseason. So you do want to give him, okay, hey, that was his first time really calling plays in this type of atmosphere. But you got 17, 18, 19 weeks going of calling plays since then against the ball on the NFL level. You have a quarterback in C.J. Stroud that's having the best rookie year of all time from a quarterback standpoint, in my opinion. So you would think that, okay, hey, you got to start getting to the groove, especially last week. But again, I do think that he did try to get a little bit too cute, a little too fancy smancy, and try to end up winning getting a head coaching job off of one game. I feel like that against the Cleveland Browns last week, especially in the red zone when when I think he got a little bit too cute in the red zone when he tried to do the shuffle pass to Beck and then the design run with CJ and things like that. I think that he got a little bit too cute, was trying to win the head coaching job right there off of one drive, off of one game. And I feel like he was trying to come into this game again with the same type of mindset, and trying to do a little bit too cute instead of dialing it back, understanding the atmosphere and what's going on, and allowed to make some plays and make things easier for your quarterback. Your quarterback is starting to be uncomfortable. You're not able to generate a run game. Your receivers are not getting separation. These DBs and linebackers are sitting on the routes. They're keeping everything in front of them, and they're not allowing you to move up and down the field. And you start to gain some success. You started to gain a little bit of success on that last drive offensively right before the half, and I do think that Fairbairn missing that field goal. I mean, the offense finally got some things cooking. The defense was able to put some pressure on Lamar Jackson previously. The offense finally started cooking, was able to get back in the scoring position right before halftime at a 10-10 game, and the offense got nothing. Didn't get any type of reward for it. Didn't get any type of reward for it because Fairbairn missed the field goal, and I do think that was part of it. And that was part of what killed the drive and killed the momentum, against the in the second half, and killed the morale because they were kind of down. Like, man, we did all that. We wasn't able to cash anything in. But I do think that Bobby Slowik, mine possibly was elsewhere. I don't want to say it was completely elsewhere, but I do think that Bobby Slowik did, you start feeling yourself a little bit. Because all these teams, it's not just one, it's just not two. You got the Titans, he has connections with the general manager there from San Francisco. Same thing with the Commanders. The general manager is there from San Francisco as well. So you got a previous relationship with those two guys. But then you also got the Falcons, and then you got the Seahawks, and you got the Panthers. You got these other teams out there calling you, asking, requesting for you. I think he took the interview with the Tennessee Titans on Zoom previously last week. So because of that, I do think, hey, you might be feeling yourself a little bit. Now you got Gerard Johnson, him getting some love, and him getting some mentions and things like that. I do believe at least one of them is going to stay. I don't foresee both of them. I know a lot of Texan fans are in fear that we might lose both. I don't feel like we're going to lose both, because if Bobby Slowik leaves, they're just going to elevate Gerard Johnson to OC, and Gerard Johnson over the Saints and the Browns will stay and be the OC for C.J. Stroud. If Bobby Slowik stays, I can see Gerard Johnson leaving to become an OC if Bobby Slowik stays at OC. So it really depends on if Bobby Slowik leaves or goes. It really depends on that. I do think that Bobby Slowik can get better. I do think he has gotten better, because I was very critical of him going on early on to the season. I was very critical on him early on to the season, and he has improved. He has gotten better, but this past game kind of show you a little bit of things like that. I don't want to put it all on him, because I do think some of it was the defense. The Ravens are just that good. But I do think that some of it, that maybe he was feeling, the interest a little bit from other teams, and maybe slightly a little bit wasn't completely focused on the task at hand, not keeping the main thing, and not completely be zoned in and completely focused on the task at hand, and let's go out here and beat these Baltimore Ravens because, hey, I got the opportunity. The thing is, he might not even take the opportunities. But just the simple fact that, everybody's telling you, man, you're doing such a good job and you on the hot coach candidate list and all these type of things like that, that you start, hey, you start feeling yourself somewhat. So it could be a reason. Like it could be part of it could be part of the reason. Not saying that it was the reason, but it could possibly be part of the reason. And it is something you might want to sit back and think about. It's just something you want to sit back and think about because again, when it was the worst offensive performance of the season, when the offense that drives the team, was been carrying this team for the most part, only musters up 3 points and only got in scoring position twice. And now that only messed up 3 points. 7 points came off of a punt return that you got. And then also the 3 points that you got in good field position because it was a short punt that we don't talk about. Remember, it was the holding call because the ball would have been, the punt thing landed on the 45. And because we got a 10-yard penalty, we got put on 45. Instead of being on their 45, we was on 45. So, so instead of being we should have been on their, we should have started to drive off on their 45, but we had to start to drive off on our 45 or our 30 or something like that because of the holding call on the punt return on the punt. So that right there, and that's how you got the 3 points that you got. And like that was on the drive where it was almost a pick by Kyle Hamilton, the pass that he was throwing to Brevin Jordan. So you kind of got lucky there. Your defense did you a solid, and then they special teams kind of messed up a little bit. And you also gave yourself put yourself back 10 more yards because of your special teams as well with the holding call. But that's how you was even in that scoring position to begin with. So really, offensively, you wasn't generating anything. So when you have performances like that, you're going to have the fan base. And a lot of people question, were you actually focused or were you thinking about all these job interviews and all these potential opportunities that you have in front of you? I mean, hey, just like you're going to get all the credit when you're scoring 35, 45 points and you're beating Cleveland 45-14 in the playoff game, and everybody's rocking. The offense looks unstoppable, and CJ's throwing for over 300 yards and 200 yards in the first half, and things like that. And we looking like we rolling. We about to be the most dominant offense. When you lead the NFL in big plays and chunk plays, you lead the NFL in those type of things, and you get all the credit then when you only muster up 3 points offensively in a playoff game, and your offense doesn't show up, you're going to get the blame as well. It's just part of the business, especially when you got all these opportunities coming at your way or potential opportunities coming your way. You're going to get that blame as well. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.